A lot of times you grow the most when you're uncomfortable, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you want to grow your communication, sometimes you got to have uncomfortable conversations.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, you got to really, not sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just a must.
That's just what it is.
What's up, y'all? It's Sid the Entertainer. I'm asking y'all to check out the Loveology podcast. This is...
Hello, and welcome to the Loveology podcast, where we talk about love and life with laughter. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jason.
He's the carefree one.
She's the serious one.
And we're married.
We have been since 2012, and we like to think of ourselves as a couple of loveologists.
Not because we are the experts, but because we just love love.
We enjoy studying and talking about it, so we thought, let's just start a podcast.
A place where we can share what we have learned about love, relationships, and marriage.
You can share what you've learned, and we can all grow together.
So here we are. Are you ready?
Let's get started. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of the Loveology podcast. Baby girl, how you doing?
Why are you punching me?
That ain't a punch. That's like a little shimmy.
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing outstanding.
I like your fresh braids. We already talked about this, but everyone take notice. He got some new designs. He thinking he all that.
Hey man, I ain't said it. You said it. But you know what I'm saying? Since we own it, for all the people that's listening on audio, make sure you come to YouTube and check us out. But check me out, y'all.
Very, very cute.
Like a little, I like it. I really do.
Yes, it's dope.
Yeah, so shout out to all my people out there with the new hairstyles and the new do's. Shout out to my wifey. She got her new do up with her. Well, it's the we still used to for the people that's been with us for a long time, they're used to the long hair Ashley, and so this still new to us, the short hair Ashley.
Get used to it. I said, shoot, I need to go ahead and cut this hair on off again, because yeah, I'm already not liking how much work it's taking.
Oh Lord.
No, actually, in an upcoming episode, I'm going to do like a hair update for our listeners who listen to us all the time. You know what I'm talking about. But
right.
I made a decision to cut my hair in November. So we did an episode about that. So I want to do an update and kind of show you what's going on back there. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all because it did grow. A lot of it grew back, but not all of it. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. But yes, so I'm thinking maybe I should do a second cut and maybe that will, help continue on the process.
Yes. So quickly, babe, first of all, how was your week?
It was good.
It was good.
Yes.
I think you said a word that was pretty cool for me, and that word for the week for me was impressed. I'm impressed. Yeah. So could you tell the listeners, why were you impressed?
Yeah, Jason and I have been married for almost 9 years, and it's just been long time coming in certain situations.
It's been a long time coming. Go ahead.
So one situation is the grocery store, and just like Jason remembering the sort of things that I buy, like the particular labels. Yeah. He went to the grocery store this week and he just did a really, really good job.
Yeah, with the kids.
With the kids, yes. With the 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. So that's not easy. And
did a big shop.
You got the right spaghetti sauce. Mm-hmm. You didn't get the stuff that I don't use. Right. You got the right spaghetti, know, the brand that I like.
Luckily.
The only thing he was, I guess he was trying to be an overachiever. He got some olives, and I haven't.
Can never be. Can't satisfy them all the time. They wanted 100% or no.
I already ate the olives, but it was just funny. It was funny, but you don't want me to add that.
No, that's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? That's a typical wifey.
So I like olives, but I can't remember what the Goya brand did. I just know that people was canceling Goya and it had something to do with race. I can't remember what happened. So these olives that I like are Goya brand, but now that, that happened like a year or so ago, I just stopped buying it.
Look,
and I just can't even remember.
Olives. We already paid for them. We're gonna eat them olives.
But I haven't found another brand. So I haven't bought olives because I haven't like tried the other brands yet to figure out which one I really like.
Yeah.
So Jason, but you remembered that was the olives that I was getting when I was getting them. So I was really impressed. I was like, geez, he got a few meals for the kids.
Yeah.
Like, okay, got me a few lunches.
Yeah, did a whole bunch of stuff that day. And that, that week in particular was just, Ashley been doing a lot of work on some different things, some major projects. And, I've been in here holding it down, you know what I'm saying? So for all the ladies out here, I understand what you ladies go through when you have to, take care of the household. You get off of work, but you still at work. You gotta, clean. You gotta figure out who gonna eat what. You gotta get baths ready. You gotta get school clothes ready. I get it. I'm there, and I still haven't done 100% of the work of the duty. But I think last week I was hitting on about 90.
Yeah, you were, because normally I'm working, but I'm still taking care of the food.
Yeah.
As far as like grocery shopping and things like that, you would go to the grocery store, but it's still like more on me to do it.
Yeah.
You help fold some clothes and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were doing a lot of it last week. So yeah, you did a great job, honey.
So definitely shout out to your boy. You know what I'm saying, for holding it down. One small step for Jason, but one giant leap. So
I don't get no applause for that.
Let me finish my thing. One small step for Jason and one giant leap for mankind. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like Drake over here.
So
they don't get no awards for that.
Hey man,
for me.
Well, you give a shout out for Ashley. You know what I'm saying? She's working very hard, and she understands the flip side of, it's kind of tough to come home and help out.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me speak to that. Well, look, we're going to do a whole episode.
We're going to do a whole episode.
Yeah,
maybe it
so
should be called Perspectives.
Yes. We did an episode when we did a role reversal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So check that one out. When I got this job that I'm working right now. And so, yeah, Jason and I have just been having conversations about how great it is and how unique it is that we really, really understand each other's perspective now.
Right.
Like really understand what the other person was going through. So like Jason was saying, it is difficult to work and then, have to detach from work and then come and help out around the house. And I mean, I was already doing, that, but
when you're so focused in on your work, and, it's just, you just so focused on it. It's kind of hard to, you just want to chill.
Yeah, you just want to relax. And it's like, I gotta go do this. You know what I'm saying?
And that's typically the role of the worker or the husband or the man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm typically in the role of the female or the person that stays at home.
Yeah.
So we're understanding each other's perspectives. And so
right.
we're definitely going to jump into that. It's going to be an episode. Who knows? Hopefully here very soon. We're going to do that. Yeah. What, you had anything else you want to? Okay, well, real quick, I did want to give a shout out to our top countries. You know what I'm saying? We getting highlighted in South Africa again. So shout out to South Africa. You know what I'm saying? We was on Taiwan's leader, on their board. So definitely shout out to England, Canada, Mexico, Belize. Shout out to Nigeria. Shout out to Ghana. Man, just shout out to all the countries. Australia, Singapore, New Zealand. I'm just naming some of the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. Spain, Italy. We appreciate y'all for appreciating us and listening to us. So thank you.
And our Patreons as well.
Definitely got to give a shout out to the Patreons, man. Y'all are definitely holding it down. We appreciate you guys and gals for being there in our corner. And if you want to become a Patreon, and basically it's just, sowing a seed to us financially, you can go to loveologypodcast.com and hit that button that says become a Patreon, and you can pick a tier and you could join us. And the lowest tier is just $2 a month. So really appreciate you. And last but not least, we do have a review. We love reviews.
Yeah,
we love reviews. So shout out to Timothy Holmes for giving us a dope review. This time this was on actual Facebook. So you can give reviews all over the place. You can review right here in the comments. So we'll highlight it. He says, I absolutely love this podcast. podcast, sometimes it can be difficult to find quality content online that's not only entertaining, but also informative. But Loveology Podcast give me exactly what I need. The episodes cover topics we are experiencing in life, love, relationship all the time. The hosts provide, that's us, great perspectives on important issues, so I highly recommend. So shout out to Timothy Holmes for the review. We really appreciate you.
That's right.
All right, so we about to go ahead and dive into this episode. We're going right back to difficult conversations. I know y'all missed us for 2 weeks, so we're back at it again. And if you're new here and it's your first time seeing difficult conversations, we did this episode with 4 on it. 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Regardless, the rest of the episodes are right here, so definitely go to 1 and work yourself back up to this one. So let's get it going. Let's get it on. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes. Great intro, honey.
All right.
So like Jason said, difficult conversations. This is a book that we're covering. We did episodes 91 through 94, and we took 2 weeks to talk about some other topics. Yes. And now we are returning. So I will give a brief summary. But if you want to learn more about what I'm talking about, go check out those episodes. And that was episodes 91 through 94. Okay, so we have difficult conversations all the time in life. What is difficult conversation? Anything you find difficult to talk about. Anything. Mm-hmm. So this is, again, us kind of branching out to, Loveology is about relationships in general, right? And so what we're talking about now, can apply to any relationship. Your friend, your coworker, your boss, your children. Yes, this can apply to anything. Okay. So what we talked about over those few episodes was that all difficult conversations is basically like 3 things happening at the same time, 3 conversations happening at the same time.
Yes.
That's the what happened conversation, the feelings conversation, and the identity conversation. So we were discussing the what happened conversation. Today, we'll be discussing the feelings conversation.
Okay. And when you mean what happened conversation, what do you mean by that quickly?
Okay, quickly. First, we're both people experience events differently, and that's because of our past experiences. So we can see the same thing, but we both have different stories about what happened. So that's what we talked about in one episode. Another was that we tend to assume that we know what a person's intentions were.
Yes.
And a lot of times we assume the worst, right? It's like, you said that to hurt me.
Right. Right.
You don't know that for sure. And then
so basically you're just saying that that was just a review of what transpired, what happened. Like, yes. This is my perspective of what happened, and let's hear your perspective of what happened, just to bring it to the table.
Yeah, and understanding that, like, we have to figure out what happened first. That's like the biggest thing first when you're having a difficult conversation. Yeah. You got to figure that out. So like the assuming that someone had bad intentions, that's something that you have to talk about. And we did that. We discussed that in the whole episode, right?
Right. And if you have a partner, you know what I'm saying, you gotta fall back on what started this whole thing, and that's love, right? So you gotta understand that if something that makes your eyebrows go up or down that your partner did, you gotta understand that your partner hopefully is doing things out of love.
Right.
So therefore, you shouldn't automatically assume, even though it looks oddly familiar to something somebody else did in the past, or something that maybe even you did. That don't necessarily mean that's what they're doing. So get that clarification from them by bringing it to the table and figuring out, hey, what happened?
Right, exactly. And so the last part of what happened is blaming each other. And again, we did a whole episode on just blaming and why that's not good. And the authors of the Difficult Conversations book is saying that we should lean more toward a contribution system, which means let's evaluate first you need to evaluate what you contributed. Because most of the time when something happens, that's not right, normally both people have contributed something to that. So let's start with that. Let's figure out. And so we talked about that, right?
Yeah.
So yes, and that was pretty much it with the what happened, like what happened, what just happened here. So now we're moving into feelings, which is another major part of a difficult conversation, right?
Yep.
Feelings are everywhere.
Okay, let's get it.
Jason, why do you think we have a hard time expressing our feelings?
Because we are a lot of times we don't want people to. We don't want to feel vulnerable. We don't want to get vulnerable. We don't want to really let people know what's really going on in our mind.
Yes.
You know
Why
what I'm
not?
saying?
Why do you think so?
Because sometimes you can be a little bit embarrassed of what's going on in your mind, a little insecurities, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, see, people got to understand this. Some of the things that float through your mind is not really you know what I'm saying? There is just things that you pick up along the way. So you may pick up some stuff in a movie that a person did messed up in this movie, but maybe 5 years down the road or even 10 minutes down the road, you can flash that in your mind and you try to identify. You may thinking, oh, that's who I am. And that's not who you are. Mm-hmm. That's just something that's floating in your head. So whatever your thoughts are, you can see them, but that doesn't necessarily, you don't have to identify with your thoughts.
Yeah. And sometimes, they gave an example in this book that when we're dealing with a difficult conversation, it's hard to express your feelings because you're afraid that that's going to backfire on you, that you're going to hurt the person, or that they're going to get more angry.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. But that's the whole point of being difficult. A lot of times you grow the most when you're uncomfortable, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you want to grow your communication, sometimes you got to have uncomfortable conversations,
right? Absolutely. I mean, you got to, really, not sometimes. It's just a must.
That's just what it is.
So here's a point that I think is very important, and they make it in the verse part of this section about feelings. And it is about that feelings. This is a quote from the book. Feelings are too powerful to remain peacefully bottled. They will be heard one way or another, whether in leaks or bursts. And if handled indirectly or without honesty, they contaminate communication. So, haven't you had a conversation with a person and they do a little jab and you're like, what was that? Like, why you you can feel it. Like, it's leaking out. What, you got something to say to me?
Right. You got beef?
Yeah. What's up? Like, go ahead, spit it out.
Yeah.
So definitely, this is one of the reasons why it's so important, to go ahead and tell your feelings, because it's going to come out. I just think that's such an important thing.
Yeah, go ahead and address them, because like she said, one way or another, they're going to come out. And you rather for it to come out in a more controlled setting than it's just bursting out. You know what I'm saying? Or a little leaks here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just go ahead and talk about it. If you're too frustrated to talk about it at the time, pull out your phone or get your notepad and just write it down and come back to it.
That's something that Jason and I definitely do a lot.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So the goal of this is to teach us how to express our feelings properly, because sometimes people are thinking that they're expressing their feelings, but they're really passing judgment on a person. And we're going to talk about that later. Okay. So here's some other ways that not expressing your feelings can be a problem. Unexpressed feelings can burst into a conversation. We already talked about that. So here's another way that unexpressed feelings can be a problem. Yeah. It makes your unexpressed feelings make it hard for you to listen.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, because if you think in some type of way, you so focused on your feelings, and you're not even really paying attention to what your significant other is saying. You so caught up on you distracted, right? For your internal, you're having conversations with yourself, and you should be having conversations with your partner.
Absolutely. And here's what the book says: because good listening requires an open and honest curiosity about the other person, right? And a willingness and ability to keep the spotlight on them, buried emotions draw the spotlight back to us. So you just, like you said, so busy thinking about you that you're not listening to the other person. Right. So that's why we got to get these feelings out. Okay. Unexpressed feelings take a toll on our self-esteem and relationships. Sometimes because we didn't take the moment to express ourselves, we may feel like we may get mad at ourselves for not sticking up for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that messes up your self-esteem. Okay. So here's a way out. Let's get to the solution. Enough with the problems.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's go.
So the first thing that you have to do is that you need to sort out just what your feelings are. And we're going to go through all three of these. It's 3 things, right?
Okay.
The second thing is that you need to negotiate with your feelings.
Okay.
And the third thing is that you need to share your actual feelings, not attributions or judgments about the other person. And we're going to go into that.
Okay.
All right. So what do you think they mean by you need to find out just what your feelings are?
You need to find out what your feelings are. Yeah, you just gotta figure out, am I angry? Am I mad? What is it? What's going on with me?
Yeah, so what if it's all of the what if it's all of the above?
Well, you figuring it out. You sorting it out.
So they gave a really good example in this book. A lot of times it is a multitude of emotions. It's not just one emotion, right?
Right.
And they gave a good example of a son and a mother who the son was looking for a job, and the mother would always ask him about the job, right? So he was feeling a whole lot of emotions, and one of them was he's angry at her because he feels like she's like pressuring him. But when he think about like how he feels, the reason why he's angry is that he feels like she may be disappointed in him, right? Mm-hmm. But then he also loves his mother, so he knows that like she cares for him. Right. So he has that feeling too of like, I appreciate you, for caring about me. Mm-hmm. So he got all these feelings. And I think that like when you telling somebody, that you're angry, you throwing in this other feeling that you have about them of, I appreciate you for caring for me. Mm-hmm. I have that feeling too. I recognize that. Right. Mm-hmm. And I also, the only reason why like it's annoying, but I feel disappointed. I feel like I may be disappointing you, throw it so she'll know what sort of impact she's having on him. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Yes. It opens up. Cause when you just say you're angry,
yeah,
you just looking at anger and then sometimes the person on the other end is hard for them to receive it. Cause it's like, why are you angry? You know what I'm saying? It just automatically turn to a defense mode.
Right.
But when you give out all these other different emotions that come with it, it's like you want to accept you want to accept when somebody's appreciative.
Yeah.
You're going to accept that 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. If somebody say, Ashley, I appreciate you, you're going to accept that 100% of the time.
Right.
But if someone say, Ashley, I'm mad at you, I'm angry at you, you're going to be like, hold up, what for what? Mm-hmm. You gonna come with a kind of rejection or at least a yield a little bit, right?
Right.
So if you come with and it could be the positive sandwich, you know what I'm saying? I'm appreciative, but at the same time I'm upset, but also, you know what I'm saying, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So that gives, okay, I accept this, but I'm still concerned on why are you angry?
Right.
But it comes in like a combo meal. Mm-hmm. So it's like it gives an opportunity for the next person to hear you out.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to read off all the different emotions that he felt because I thought like I said, I think this is a very good example. Mm-hmm. It says that, so his friend, the guy's friend, told him to make a list of so he can get in touch with his feelings, basically. He said, okay, so about the job search, he was feeling hopeless, confused, and afraid. Mm-hmm. That's what typically if anybody looking for a job, that's very accurate, right? Mm-hmm. Putting off the search was Brad's way of putting off some of the anxiety. So basically he was kind of like not doing it, right? So his mother is kind of pointing out that, hey, you're not searching for a job, but she don't understand how he feels. He feels helpless and he has a lot of anxiety, so he putting it off. About his mother, Brad's feelings were more complex. On the one hand, he did indeed experience her constant prodding as a great annoyance. On the other hand, he experienced it as a form of love and caring and meant a great deal to him. And then he had feelings about himself. Okay, about himself, Brad felt mostly shame. He believed he was letting his mother down and that least up until now. He was wasting his potential and his college education. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of feelings. So yes, I think majority of the time we have way more than one feeling happening.
Right.
So that was a good example.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So if you're dealing with like a difficult conversation, just take the time and hey, if you got to write it out, you know, like this example in this book of like, okay, these are the ways that I'm feeling. And, you know, you just want your partner or your person that you love or whoever it is you having this conversation with to really to understand you, like you said, so you can receive it better, so they can receive it better if they understand like the whole spectrum. Right.
I suggest if you're doing this, if you're trying this, I definitely suggest writing it out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can have the key points, because you know how conversations, they can go left field and right field, you know what I'm saying, real quick. So you got to always bring it back to the center of the whole reason why we started this conversation. So you got to get back to the point. So definitely write your points down.
Right. And just another point that they made in this book was just accept that your feelings are normal, right? Like we just need to know how to deal with them, but we're going to have feelings. It's okay.
Sure.
It's just not about not having feelings. Okay. So there was another point that I just said about not, when you express your feelings, make sure you're actually expressing your feelings and not judgments or attributions or accusations, right? Okay. So if you tell somebody, if they gave an example in this book where there's two friends and one did something for the friend and the friend did not say thank you, right? And so the friend wanted to have a conversation and say, well, I'm going to express my feelings and I'm going to let her know, you know, how I feel. And she told her, I feel that you are self-absorbed and you're not grateful. How you think that went over?
Probably didn't go over well.
Why not?
I mean, because you coming out with some heavy hitters, you know, some haymakers. You self-absorbed. And what was the other one?
What did she say? You're self-absorbed and thoughtless.
And thoughtless, golly. So yeah, that didn't come off well. Just straight defense mode.
Yeah.
I gotta block them.
Did she actually tell her friend how she feels?
No.
She just told her what she thought.
Right.
About her.
Right.
But she didn't tell her what she felt.
So you starting the conversation off wrong. It's going to go in the wrong direction.
Well, I can see how a lot of people can get this confused. They can say, well, that's just how I feel. I feel like you're self-absorbed. I feel like you're selfish.
No, what did those actions do to you on the inside?
Right. That's feelings.
Right.
What did it do to you? How did it make you feel?
Right.
Not that, you know, I feel like you're selfish.
I feel like you're an idiot. Yeah.
So she should have said, I was hurt by the fact that you didn't say I'm sorry and explain like why and all this other stuff.
Y'all in this together, like y'all partners for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like y'all love each other. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes we just, like I said, we struggle with communication. And communication is the foundation. Communication and trust is the foundation. And a lot of times, communication is the key to it all, really. You know what I'm saying? In order to build your trust, you gotta have some communication. You gotta have that down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So here's a good quote from the book to explain the difference. Just to make sure. So the difference between judgments about others and statements of our own feelings is sometimes difficult to see. Judgments feel like feelings when we are saying them. They are motivated by anger or frustration or hurt, and the person on the receiving end understands very clearly that we are feeling something. Unfortunately, that person probably isn't sure what we are feeling, and more important, is focused on the fact that we are judging, attributing, and blaming. That's only natural.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, everything we just said, but but I like to read from the book sometimes. So we get that, right? Do we need any more examples of here's a few examples of what a judgment is. A judgment could be something like, if you were a good friend, you would have been there for me. Man, you trying to say I'm not a good friend?
Right. Right.
You could have just told me, man, I was just really hurt. I really wanted you to be there and you weren't. And I was just really hurt by that. Not if you were a good friend,
Right.
you would have been there. So just because I haven't showed up, how many more times did I show up?
Right.
I'm not a good friend?
Right.
Jeez. Okay. Right. Attributions. Why were you trying to hurt me? Characterizations. You're just so inconsiderate. I can see how that one can be easily, people can think that they're expressing their feelings, but you're really just,
Yeah,
you stating that as a fact.
Yeah. And that's the beginning of their statement, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you just got to skip past that and focus on you, focus on you, focus on me,
Right.
Focus on what's happening with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Focus on those feelings.
Yes. Okay. So negotiating your feelings is number 2 on this 3-step process, right?
Okay. Talk to me. I'm pretty good at negotiating. So what do I need to do?
First of all, you gotta make sure that like how you feeling is actually how you feeling.
Okay. How do you do that?
Okay. Here we go.
It's like math. How you do the checks and balances?
So going back to when we were talking about the different stories that we tell ourselves, and you see an event, you see something happen, and you experience it totally different than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So here's the story. Imagine that you are in an ocean. Okay.
Okay.
You're scuba diving.
Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean?
I don't know. While you're scuba diving, you suddenly see a shark glide into view. Your heart starts to pound and your anxiety skyrockets. You're terrified, which is perfectly rational and an understandable fear, right?
Yes.
Understandable feeling.
Right.
Okay. Now imagine that you're a marine biology. Training enables you to identify.
Marine biologist.
It says that you're a marine biology. Sorry. Excuse me. Enables you to identify it is a reef shark, which doesn't prey on anything as large as you. Your anxiety disappears. Instead, you feel excited and curious to observe the shark's behavior.
Until the shark bites you. Then it's not a reef shark. It's actually a tiger shark.
No, it's a reef shark. Okay. So here's the point. It isn't the shark that's changed. It's the story you tell yourself about what's happening in any given situation.
Yes.
Our feelings follows our thoughts.
Yes.
So you thought this was a dangerous shark. So your feelings was one thing.
Right.
And then when you figured out that it wasn't a dangerous shark, your feelings was a totally different thing.
Right.
Okay.
Just like if your first time seeing me walking down the street with my braids, you might think I'm a scary guy.
That's true. This is a great example. Keep going, Jason. I see where you're going with this.
But then when I say, "Hey, I'm Jason Harrison," what was it? Co-host of Loveology podcast. Have you checked that out? And they were like, "Dang, okay, maybe it's cool."
Or this is a good example. One time we were traveling last year, before COVID. We were in New York and New Jersey.
Yes.
And we were in a hotel, and Jason went downstairs.
Shout out to all my New Yorkers.
Yes.
I know I didn't say that right, but yeah, go for it.
Well, we were actually in New Jersey, and you went downstairs to like get the breakfast ready for me and the kids. Isaiah was really young.
Oh, yeah, I do remember. You was in New Jersey. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and you were kind of setting the table, and you said people was kind of looking at you like, who is this guy? Is he taking all his food for himself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just by myself, and I was getting multiple waffles, multiple plates.
Yes.
And, black guy. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at me like, he just freeloading and, you know what I'm saying, overdoing it,
right?
Because it was free.
Right.
And
so, and then me and the kids came bouncing down the stairs and sitting down at this table that, our nice daddy and husband has fixed for us. And you said you can kind of you could feel the difference.
Everybody chill like,
that's what's happening.
Yeah, he was setting a table for his family.
Yeah.
It's not a gangbanger. Yeah, this was before the braids too. So if it was the braids, they probably would have called the police on me.
This is not funny, but it is funny. But
it's just what it is, you know?
Right. So like, yeah, so these people were probably having feelings about you. And then when they got more information and saw the other part, it's a totally different feeling, right?
Mm-hmm. They even came over and speak.
Yeah.
They spoke.
Yeah, they was jealous. The other women, they had kids. They was like, man, looking at their husband like, what? That's a good idea. Can you do that for me too?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's very, very important. So negotiating your feelings basically is, first, we need to examine our own story. Mm-hmm. What is the story we are telling ourselves that is giving rise to how we feel? What is our story missing? What might the other person's story be? Almost always an increased awareness of the other person's story changes how we feel. So before you just start, going all off, just investigate the other person's story. And then if it is what you thought it was, then tell them how you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a really big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And then next, you need to explore our assumptions about
the one. You said next. What's the third one?
This is the same thing about how to negotiate your feelings.
Okay.
Explore our assumptions about the other person's intentions. To what extent are our feelings based on our untested assumptions about their intentions? All the stuff that we was talking about, the what happened conversation, basically. Yeah. And then the last thing finally was to consider how you contributed to the problem.
Yes.
The what happened situation.
What happened was.
Yes. Okay. So I really think that's a big one. And moving on. So how do we describe how do we describe our feelings carefully?
How do you describe them carefully? Well, they got to be, thought out. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you know what I'm saying? You take it from the beginning to the end like a story.
Yep. I guess.
Talk to me.
So again, there's another 3-step process here. First is to frame feelings back into the problem. Step 1 in expressing feelings well involves simply remembering that they're important. Remember that your feelings are important.
Yes.
Your feelings need not be rational to be expressed. Thinking that you shouldn't feel as you do will rarely change the fact that you feel them. Mm-hmm. Your purpose here is to simply get them out. You can decide what, if anything, to do about them later. Okay. So back to the point of don't suppress your feelings, right? Okay. We just got to talk about them, but remembering that. Express the full spectrum of your feelings. Like what we said earlier, yes. You have multiple feelings. Most of the time, it's not just anger. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And if you express that to your partner or a friend or whoever you're having a difficult conversation with, they're much more likely to accept it, right?
Sí, señora.
Okay, don't evaluate, just share. This goes back to what we were just talking about. So this is kind of like summarizing everything that we just talked about. Express your feelings without judging, without saying stuff like you're not a good friend and all this other stuff and blaming the other person. Just don't do that.
Right.
So those are the 3 things that you have to remember. Don't evaluate, just share. Just share. Don't tell them you're inconsiderate. No. Just tell them how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't monopolize both sides. Both sides have strong feelings at the same time.
How do you monopolize both sides?
Like Monopoly.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but how do you put words?
You just don't care about their feelings. You just want to express your feelings, and you don't care about theirs.
Oh, okay. It says don't monopolize both sides, but
sorry. I was supposed to say don't monopolize. Both sides can have strong feelings at the same time.
Because I'm like, that comma is important.
It is.
I'm like, don't monopolize both sides. How does that work?
Yeah.
So don't monopolize just your portion of it. You got to look at both sides of the picture. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep. I thought this was a pretty good example. An easy reminder, say I feel. So we can give the people some examples of a way to say I feel, right? Mm-hmm. So one is, there's a couple, they have children, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a big deal with kids. and one parent says something and the other parent says something different, right? So what does that feel like?
What?
Like you like
y'all not together on things.
Like one, okay, well, this is the example. It said, why do you insist on undermining me in front of the kids? You undermining me, undercutting.
Oh, okay.
That's another word that people will use in that situation. So what that's not telling. I mean, I guess if you said it feels like you're undermining me.
Yeah.
That's not right though. That's not what they're saying to say.
Yeah. No, I feel like what I'm saying is not doesn't hold any weight. You know what I'm saying? Well, I feel like what I'm saying is, I feel like I'm not being heard. You know what I'm saying?
This is the example of a sentence that they said could be a good option. When you disagree with me about child rearing in front of the kids, I feel betrayed. Why can't I say that? Betrayed. I say portrayed. Betrayed, and also worried about the message it sends to them. That's really what's the problem, right?
Right.
Yeah. You like that one better?
Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
You like yours too?
Yeah. You know, but no, that definitely hits it home for that particular situation. Yeah. Mine was more vague. Yours was more, more specific.
Okay. So this is the last point. All right. We have to acknowledge how important feelings are. A lot of times, which I feel like Jason is guilty of, we want to jump to solving the problem.
Yes. Because I'm a problem solver. I have a saying that says, if I can't fix it, then it ain't broke.
Jason definitely does this. And I have said on more than one occasion, Jason, I just need to get it out. I need to finish before I can finish. Well, I don't know why we got to talk about that because I already said that I need to finish it. You remember me saying this a few times?
You say a lot of things.
Do you remember this one though?
I mean, maybe I can't remember right now. Like finish, get it out so I can, by you saying I need to finish. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So, but a lot of times you want to skip over those feelings, basically.
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I already know what you're about to say or something.
Well, you don't.
Yeah, sometimes.
Before moving on, this is a quote from the book. Before moving on to problem solving, you have a responsibility to yourself and to the other person to ensure that they appreciate the importance of the topic to you, that they truly understand your feelings, and that they value your having shared them. Acknowledging feelings is crucial in any relationship. It's definitely for me because I can't move on until I feel like you understand how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if we want to know, that is such a big part of it. I just really want you to understand how I feel.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the last point on that. Like, just making sure that we understand that feelings do matter. Everybody wants to be heard.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be understood.
Yes.
And I want you to care about me enough that you will sit here and listen to how I feel. Because if you're not willing to listen to how I feel, it does feel like, it hurts me and it doesn't make me feel like you care about me.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it right. You definitely said that right. Yeah, everybody want to be heard. Everybody want to know. Everybody want people to understand how they feel. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Well, that's a good one for this week. I hope y'all took some copious notes.
And like I try to say this every episode, but this is the book, Difficult Conversations. And
who's the author?
It's 3 authors. It is Douglas Stone, Bruce Patton, and Sheila Heen.
Doug, Bruce, and Sheila. What's up, y'all?
Of the Harvard Negotiation Project.
Hey.
So I do skip over things for time, sake. So I always encourage everyone, any book that we are discussing on this podcast, you should check it out for yourself. And and this is also my interpretation of the book. So I don't think I'm misinterpreting it, but I don't know. Who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
But I think this is a great book.
This is Loveology Podcast. Here we study and love, baby. Mm-hmm. And we encourage each and every one of you listeners out there, or loveologists. We're going to get those shirts coming very soon. We really encourage you to come into the conversation. We're just starting a conversation. This is it. What we say is not the end all be all, right?
Right.
Some of you may have experienced other things, right? Some of you may get a different interpretation. We'd love to hear from you. So drop those comments, man. Please, let's get the conversation going so we can have loving, healthy, happy lives. That's what it's all about. The study of love, baby.
Yes.
The study of love.
Yep.
Anything else you got for these great listeners before we ride out?
That's all. I just appreciate everyone, and let us know what more you want to hear. Oh, I do have one more thing. Next week, we'll be talking about the identity conversation. So that's the whole section of the feelings conversation. And now we're talking about identity and how that plays a role in difficult conversations.
Yes, I love it. So if you got something out this episode, man, make sure you hit that like button. If you don't like it, you hit that dislike button twice and that'll clear that out. And if you also want to subscribe, please, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can get a notification every time we post. We'll post a video, and that's once a week, so you're not going to get bombarded with a lot of dings. So definitely appreciate it and just share it with somebody. This was all about sharing the love. Don't hog it all. Share that love, baby. So let's get on with the show. I got some stuff I got to do in the studio, and we're going to get back with y'all next time. So love y'all. Catch y'all next time. Peace out.
Bye.